And we're live. Hello, everyone. Wow, it's great to be back. It's been a while since I've done a live stream on my YouTube channel. I'm sorry. I am still working on getting into a routine of making these at least a weekly occurrence. I definitely want to be doing at least one live stream on my YouTube channel a week. If y'all would like that. So I absolutely would love to try getting back into doing a show a week at least to talk about what's going on in the world and current events and mutual aid and sex work and other revolutionary shit. So, wow, we don't have anyone here yet, so I guess I'll just wait until we get some people here. Hopefully, we've had a few viewers in the past, but I have a big lineup of notes for things to talk about. So I am ready to jump right into this. I'm just hoping we get some viewers. So let's see. Oh, we no viewers yet. Let me tweet this out that I'm going live. 1 second, y'all. Okay, so I just retweeted myself on Twitter. That's funny watching happen. So if we have anyone else, I don't know if people on Twitter are joining us. I can't see. I think I only get the count if it's through YouTube. But I'm going to take it that we do have some people watching us right now. So I might as well just jump right into it. Let me just tweet this out real quick. I am going live on my YouTube channel now. I wish I could see other people on Twitter if they were watching this and they could comment so I could know you're here. One viewer. Oh, hi, one viewer. I was just waiting for one viewer to start on my long tangent of notes about what I have to talking about today. One viewer, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm an open book. I'll answer anything. My topics today are about ongoing wars happening throughout the world, not just in Ukraine. Specifically, what I've taken notes on. Oops, sorry, Wi-Fi problems. I specifically have notes on the wars that are happening in Syria and Yemen, and some of the background of what's happening or what's happened in Venezuela, where we are now asking them after years of sanctions against them. We are now asking them for oil, begging them for oil, along with Saudi Arabia, who is funding the war crimes and the wars and the atrocities that are happening in both Yemen and Syria. So I'm just going to tweet this out real quick and then I will continue. But thank you, one viewer, for bearing with me so far. It's happening. I'm going live on and feel free to ask me a question, one viewer. Ask me any questions you have about ongoing wars or myself or corporate greed. That was the other topic for today. Ongoing corporate greed, which is resulting in all these crazy inflation prices of food and oil. Going live on my YouTube channel. Oops. Channel now to talk about wars happening throughout the world and ongoing corporate greed. Come hang out and talk. Okay. Done. It's happening. I'm going live on my YouTube channel now to talk about wars happening throughout the world and ongoing corporate greed. Come hang out and talk with me. I hope to see some more of y'all there. There. Tweet it. Okay. I'm all yours now. So, what do I have about oh my God, sorry about my Wi-Fi cutting in and out. So what do I have about let's start with Venezuela first. So we are now, due to the crisis in Ukraine, or at least that's what we're being told is happening because of war in Ukraine. We are not getting any oil from Russia now, there's been a sanction to ban all Russian imports, including oil. And even though we only get, I believe, roughly 2 to 5%, 2 to 4%, I believe, of our oil from Russia, Biden and the administration is making it seem like this is the end all for us for oil, and that's why the price is going up. But that is not the case. The prices of oil and food and all that is going up because of corporate greed. As these companies, same companies that are raising the prices right now, have seen record breaking profits in the past year and two. During COVID, the rich have gotten richer. The 1% have fulfilled their needs. While the rest of us are drowning, and we are now making even lower wages than we've seen since the Great Depression. I want to share actually that tweet that I had. I'll try and get that. The tweet about how low wages are right now with how everything else compares right now. Wages are set to be the lowest right now as they were compared to the Great Depression. So, and on top of that, while the average American is dealing with the lowest wages since the Great Depression, Congress just passed, how much? $13.6 billion funding for Ukraine, and gave themselves a 21% increase in their pay raises. That's what Congress just did. While we are suffering still during a pandemic and now amidst World War III, Congress decides to give more funding to the military and Ukraine and to give themselves a little bump in the pay raise. That's what our Congress decides to do right now. Further proof they absolutely do not give a shit about us, nor have they ever, nor will they ever, and we need to stop believing in them, and we need to start and rescue ourselves now. That's the only way forward. So what do I have about, again, back to Venezuela, about now we are coming back to Venezuela, begging them for oil. Hi, 2 viewers, welcome. I'm Liv. I'm talking about ongoing wars. Hi, Death Leopards. I'm talking about ongoing wars happening right now throughout the world, specifically Yemen and Syria, and what the situation kind of has been in Venezuela that has led us to go back begging them for oil after we've had years of sanctions on them. So we're begging Venezuela for oil after Obama signed the Venezuela Defense of Human Rights and Civil Society Act of 2014. This was imposing sanctions on Venezuelan individuals held responsible by the U.S. for human rights violations during the 2014 Venezuelan protests in December of that year. The Venezuelan presidential crisis, that has resulted in divided support for both Nicolas Maduro and Juan Guaido. Maduro's government has accused the U.S. of organizing a coup d'etat to remove him and take control of the country's oil reserves. In March 2020, the U.S. Said it would lift all sanctions if Maduro agreed to organize elections that did not include himself in a period of 6 to 12 months. I think it's important to note that they said it cannot include Maduro. It did not exclude Guaido. So obviously it seems more and more so, and especially with what I know about USA implementing coup d'etats throughout the world and trying to overthrow leaders. We do not hesitate for a second to believe that the U.S. was behind this overthrow attempt of the Maduro government in Venezuela. Um, so, um, yeah, so it was in March, again, in March 2020, the US said it would lift all sanctions if Maduro agreed to organize elections that didn't include himself in a period of 6 to 12 months. Guaido accepted the proposal, while Venezuela's foreign minister, Jorge Arrizia, rejected it and declared that only parliamentary elections would take place that year. Russia, China, Cuba, Iran, Syria, and Turkey are supporting Maduro, while the majority of Western and Latin American countries supported Guaido as acting president. The UN has continued to recognize the Maduro government as legal representative of Venezuela since December 2019. Venezuela recently just released 2 jailed U.S. citizens after talks. The first one citizen is Gustavo Carindez, who is an executive with Citgo, part of the Citgo Six. The Citgo Six are 6 jailed oil executives, now 5 that are still detained. 6 were detained in Venezuela in 2017 on corruption charges. Again, these are oil executives who have only made more and more and more money during this crisis right now. Again, due to corporate greed. So, you know, having an oil executive in prison on corruption charges doesn't sound too bad for me. I think we could just let him stay there. We don't need him back. But apparently the US wanted him back. And also Jorge Alberto Fernandez, who was arrested last year in Venezuela and accused of terrorism. The U.S. imposed sanctions on Venezuela's oil sector in 2019 after Maduro was sworn into a second term in office following elections widely dismissed as neither free nor fair. And then something else you might have heard about recently that happened in connection with Venezuela is the issue with Alex Saab. Alex Saab is one of Maduro's closest aides who was extradited from Cape Verde to the U.S. on money laundering charges. This resulted in the suspension of mediation talks in October 2021 between the opposition governments, and they were going to be having this talk in Mexico. And after Alex Saab was what Venezuelan government accuses the U.S. of kidnapping him, those talks were suspended, and I do not believe they have been held since. As I believe Alex Saab is still in U.S. custody. So I mentioned him because I think that he may also be a figure in, if we are having talks right now, I don't know how much weight Venezuela has to put behind theirs of what their wants are, but I would think they would want to request to have Alex Saab extradited back home to Venezuela. Also, a little bit of the background of what exactly why the U.S. said they extradited him was the U.S. Treasury accuses Saab of using his accounts in American banks to launder the proceeds of corruption. Again, the Venezuelan government accuses the U.S. of kidnapping diplomatic personnel and then announced the suspension and negotiation with the opposition that were supposed to resume that weekend in early October 2021. Okay, so that's what's happening in Venezuela. That's why we are back to asking them for more money. We just had the talks with them. We just had 2 citizens released. So where does that leave us? That leaves us with still needing oil, or thinking we need oil, because it's 2022 and somehow we are still dependent on oil, even though it's exactly what's killing us and forcing us to extinction. Zulu! 1 second, my dog. Zulu! No, I didn't say heel. Come on. Heel. Come on. Place. 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 Thank you. Okay, you guys didn't leave. Thank you. Lay down, Zulu. Thank you. Instead of, obviously, I think this is a perfect time for us to be talking about making the transition to clean energy, whether it be solar, geothermal, wind, I'm missing some hydro. There are so many ways we could be adapting and transitioning to clean energy right now instead of coming up with new ways to be more reliant on oil. or continue this dependence on oil as we have for decades. And again, it is exactly what is destroying us and diminishing our chances of having a humanity on a survivable, thriving, sustainable planet. That's what they're doing. Again, I think this is a great time to really talk about, oh my God, oil is so expensive. Fuck this. Like, let's talk about new ways of new energy. Oh, new viewer. Hi, new viewer. I just talked about what was happening in Venezuela that led to, I just lost them. Oh, well, lost the viewer. Well, we are going to be talking now. Okay, sorry. We could still be talking about oil substitutes right now, which we already know plenty about. And it's already being used in many countries, other, first world countries that are developed throughout the world. But we are on the back burner, quite literally, trying to continue to profit our oil executives and, big oil. We are trying to continue to profit that system that we already know is killing us and killing our planet, killing our animals. Yet there's not many calls to stop that right now. There's the calls for opening up more drilling permits and oil reserves and trying to start drilling for more oil. There's a lot of talk about that. And a lot of talk about, I'm willing to make the sacrifice for my country and pay these high gas prices for those privileged people that can pay that extra difference. But I haven't heard much talk about, wow, this really sucks about what's happening with oil. This is crazy that we're still depending on it. Where's the switch? Why? Like, this is the perfect time to jump ship now of the oil ship and jump into clean energy. And just let oil pass us by and move on from it and really make a turn for the better right now of how we can have cleaner, safer energy and start making a regenerative approach to saving our planet to make it sustainable so that humanity can survive and thrive. So that's my take on oil. And our dependence on it. That's my cat, Jasper. Yeah, Jas? Yeah. So what else? More wars that are happening across the world right now. There has not been much, but I would say I have heard more about this than I have some of the other ones. This is the one I'll talk about next is the Syrian civil war. That I have been hearing more about, more so than Ethiopia. Oh, yay. Hey, Death Leopard, thank you. Outside of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the Western Empire is still bombing Yemen, Somalia, Libya, Syria, Sudan, Mali, and other parts of Africa. Thank you. Yes. That is exactly why I wanted to do this live stream today, to talk about all these other wars that are happening outside of the Russia-Ukraine conflict that are not getting any mainstream media attention, corporate stream media attention, whatever. They're not getting any attention whatsoever from most state media outlets. So that's why it's so important to follow independent journalists and independent news outlets. We have also, there's Armenian, Azerbaijan. Oh, I can't pronounce that. I just butchered it. I'm sorry. Azerbaijani conflict and growing tensions with India, Pakistan. Death Leopards, tell us more about that. What do you know more about these intensifying conflicts? What is behind them? And what can we do to help? Because it feels like everything is just bubbling over right now, and everything is just getting exponentially, measurably, tangibly worse. And I think it really does trail back to corporate greed because, again, in greed in general, we're seeing these rises in all these prices right now. And it's not because of inflation. It's not because of war. It's not because of any of that bullshit. It's strictly because of corporate greed, because these big corporations want to exploit and extrapolate all of the resources they can out of us until there's nothing left. And they are absolutely dead set on doing that. They have no other agenda but to exploit, and leave us with absolutely nothing in the end. They have no care or regard for our lives and our well-being. That's absolutely clear. They do not care about that. Again, we are still in the midst of a pandemic. We are now on the brink of what feels like World War III. And what does Congress do in this time of need? They pass a bill, more spending for the military, giving aid to Ukraine, and giving themselves a pay raise. It's really sick. It's really sick. And I don't see how you can still be disillusioned with this faux government, this one-party establishment and faux duopoly. I don't know how you can really not see that by now, where we are and where our government's priorities lie, which are not in helping out the people. Their interests are perpetuating war in the military-industrial complex and the war machine. That's their motives. Many years of hostility between Pakistan and India are worsening due to recent accidental missile strike on Pakistan. What? Who is this from? What is going on? Wow, here, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look this up. Share screen. That's me. Okay. Ongoing conflict or let's do escalating. Escalating conflict. Okay. With continued violence in Kashmir and a heightened threat of terrorist activity by Pakistan-based militant groups, tensions and concerns over a serious military of tens of thousands of additional troops and paramilitary forces to the region, the Indian government moved to revoke Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, removing the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. India-administered Kashmir remains under lockdown with internet and phone services intermittently cut off and thousands of people detained. In February 2019, an attack on a convoy of Indian paramilitary forces in Indian-controlled Kashmir killed at least 40 soldiers. The attack claimed by Pakistani militant group Jaish-e-Mohammed was the deadliest attack in Kashmir in 3 decades. 2 weeks later, India claimed to have conducted airstrikes targeting a terrorist training camp inside Pakistani territory. Pakistan retaliated a day later with airstrikes in Indian-administered Kashmir. The exchange escalated into an aerial engagement during which Pakistan shot down 2 Indian military aircraft and captured an Indian pilot. The pilot was released 2 days later. Wow. Okay, so this sounds like it's been a long, ongoing conflict since mid last century over territorial disputes. But then more recently, we have here in 2014, after India's then newly elected Prime Minister Modi invited then Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to attend his inauguration. There were hopes that Modi's government would pursue meaningful peace negotiations with Pakistan. However, after a brief period of optimism, relations turned sour once more when India canceled talks with Pakistan's foreign minister in August 2014, after the Pakistani High Commissioner in India met with Kashmiri separatist leaders. A series of openings continued throughout 2015, including an unscheduled December meeting on the sidelines of the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris. This led to a meeting between national security advisors in Bangkok a few days later. The first visit of an Indian leader to Pakistan in more than a decade. Let's see anything. Oh gosh. Okay, let's go back. Anything else? Reasons for conflicts are border dispute, Kashmir problem, water dispute, and terror controversy. Despite being initiated, the wars and conflicts by Pakistan all are ended up with defeat or disaster for Pakistan. Okay. That's interesting. I need to learn more about that. I'm going to stop my screen. Hi, I'm back. So I'm going to read up more on that and try and get some more background on that. But what else to talk about is the Syrian civil war. So the unrest in Syria began on the 15th of March, 2011 as part of the wider 2011 Arab Spring protests out of discontent with the Syrian government, eventually escalating into an armed conflict after protests calling for Assad's removal were violently suppressed. The accidental strike happened 2 days ago. Let me see this. Wait a minute. I'm going to look this up right now. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I needed a little more clarity. Accidental airstrike, India and Pakistan. India says it's accidentally fired missile into Pakistan. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. 2 days ago. India in a statement said a technical malfunction led to the missile being fired into neighboring Pakistan. Wow. Could have unpleasant consequences. That's scary. That's fucking scary. That's really scary. Wow. Okay, so that was 2 days ago. And now, both countries have ICBMs pointing at each other. What is that? Are those nuclear weapons? What is that? ICBMs? What is that? I'm really I'm concerned. Oh, that's really scary. I absolutely think that thank you. Yep, thank you. Yep. Intercontinental ballistic missile. Nukes. Yeah. That just feels where we're at right now, where everyone has nukes pointing at each other and we're just like, you want to push it? You want to push it? That just feels like we're egging each other on for someone to make the first blow in the nuclear war that will be the meltdown of World War III and the apocalypse as we know it. So yeah, that's really fucking scary. I feel like we have nukes pointed at Russia right on the border, where US has encroached with NATO territory. I feel like we are just, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we probably have our own missiles set up to go against Russia right now. And they probably have some firing back at us. I wouldn't doubt it after how much we've antagonized them and led them on. I'm sure they're pretty fucking pissed at us and absolutely have their finger on the red button just as much as we do. But we've been egging them on, that which is something I want to do more research on. We have this. Iran missile strike a U.S. base in Iraq the other day too. Fuck. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, that's actually, Iran has some stuff to do with what I'm talking about in Yemen. So we'll get there. So that's interesting. So let me go back. Okay, Syrian civil war. The Syrian government is politically and military supported by Iran and Russia and actively supported by the Lebanese Hezbollah group, the Syrian-based Palestinian group PFLP-GC, and others. So Iran is a part of this too, supporting the Syrian government as well as Russia. Russia has been conducting intensive air campaigns against anti-government forces in Syria on the side of and at the request of the Syrian government. Syrian opposition, politically represented by the Syrian National Coalition, receives financial, logistical, political, and in some cases military support from major Sunni states in the Middle East, allied with the U.S., most notably Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey. Major Western countries such as the U.S., France, and the U.K. have provided political, military, and logistic support to the opposition and its associated rebel groups in Syria. At the end of December 2015, senior U.S. officials privately admitted that Russia had achieved its central goal of stabilizing the Assad government with the costs and casualties very low, was in a position to sustain the operation at this level for years to come. So the U.S. is admitting that Russia did good, and we suck. So the first sanctions in Syria. There was limited sanctions against the Assad government, which were imposed by the U.S. in April 2011, followed by Obama's executive order as of 18th of May 2011, targeting Bashar Assad specifically and 6 other senior officials. On the 18th of August 2011, Obama issued a written statement echoed by leaders of the UK, France, and Germany condemning Assad. Same day, Obama signed an executive order that froze all Syrian government assets that were under U.S. jurisdiction, barred Americans from doing business with the government, and prohibited the import of Syrian oil and petroleum products to the U.S. This is really interesting. The U.S. CIA runs a covert program to arm and train the Syrian rebels, which is like basically also on like it's like the Syrian rebels backed by the U.S. and the UK and France and Germany, and then the Syrian government backed by Iran, Russia, and the how is it pronounced again? Hezbollah. So the CIA comes in and starts covertly training and arming Syrian rebels. In June 2012, the CIA was reported to be involved in covert operations along the Turkish-Syrian border, where agents investigated rebel groups, recommending arms providers, which groups to give aid to, and agents also helped opposition forces develop supply routes and provided them with communications training. CIA operatives distributed assault rifles, anti-tank rocket launchers, and other ammunition to Syrian opposition. In 2016, a number of U.S. officials revealed that the CIA in 2012 proposed a detailed covert action plan designed to remove Assad from power, but Obama declined to approve it. Okay, most of this I will say is from Wikipedia and a couple other sources that I Googled. But yes, I'm going to say right now most of this is from Wikipedia. Thank you. So that's Syria. That's what's... Yeah, that's all I have. Yes, the U.S. having the CIA training them. I believe that's similar to what's happening in Ukraine right now with the U.S. training the neo-Nazi Azov battalion and sending aid to them and sending military supplies and funding and all that jazz to them. We're still doing that. Next and last but not least, I have the Yemeni civil war. Which I could definitely still do some more research on and I might pull up, but I thought this was a good start. There's the Houthis, who are Islamist political and armed movement that emerged from Sada in North Yemen in the 1990s. Under the leadership of Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, the group emerged as an opposition to former Yemeni President Ali Abdullah. Oh! Hi, Razzle. Hi, how are you? How are you? How are you? Thank you for being here. I am talking right now about the Yemeni civil war and what's been going on there. A little background about that. Okay, so under the leadership of Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, the group emerged as an opposition to former Yemeni President Ali Abdullah Saleh, whom they charged with massive financial corruption and criticized for being backed by Saudi Arabia and the U.S. at the expense of the Yemeni people. Resisting Sal's order for his arrest, Hussein was killed in Sada in 2004, along with a number of his guards by the Yemeni army. This began to spark the Houthi insurgents in Yemen. These killings sparked a military rebellion pitting Zaydai Shia Houthis, though the movement also includes Sunnis, against the Yemeni military that began in northern Yemen and has since escalated into a full-scale civil war. The civil war began in September 2014 when Houthi forces took over the capital city, Sana'a, which was followed by a rapid Houthi takeover of the government. The Houthi takeover of the capital city, Sana'a, in late 2014, the insurgency became a full-blown civil war with major Saudi-led intervention in Yemen beginning in March 2015. On March 21st, 2015, the Houthi-led Supreme Revolutionary Committee declared a general mobilization to overthrow Hadi and expand their control by driving into southern provinces. By the 25th of March, Lahij fell to the Houthis and they had reached the outskirts of Aden, the seat of power for the Hadi's government. Hadi fled the country that same day, and concurrently, a coalition by Saudi Arabia launched military operations by using airstrikes to restore the Yemeni government. Since the formation of the Southern Transitional Council in 2017 and the subsequent capture of Aden by the STC in 2018, the anti-Houthi coalition has fractured, with regular clashes between pro-Hadi forces backed by Saudi Arabia and southern separatists backed by the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. The U.S. provided intelligence and logistical support for the Saudi-led campaign. In March 2019, the U.S. Congress voted to end U.S. support to the Saudi war effort. However, Trump vetoed it. Biden announced a freeze on arms sales to Saudi Arabia and the UAE in January 2021 and announced that he would end American support for the Saudi coalition. As of the 13th of April 2021, arms sales to the UAE have not been stopped, while sales to Saudi Arabia continue to be paused. However, the details of the end of American involvement in the war have yet to be released. In June of 2021, the Biden administration did not provide any answers to congressional queries regarding the level of continuing American involvement in Yemen. Remains one of the largest humanitarian crises in the world, with around 21 million people in need of humanitarian assistance, including more than 11 million children. Hi. Yeah, do you see my cat? Oh, there's Wilson. That's Wilson. Hi, Aman. I was just talking about the Yemeni civil war and the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Yemen. If you would like to speak about this, I believe you are from Yemen. Please give us details of what's happening on the ground right now and what else we can be doing to help support you and help support others going through these crises right now. Please let us know. Funny how this happened in 2014, same time as the overthrow of Ukraine. Yes, that is something so that I'm also learning. Yes, I am from Yemen. Yes, please let us know more about your firsthand account on what's going on in Yemen and who you feel is responsible, who you're angry at. I would just love to hear more of your take on this, especially as someone who's a comrade on the ground there. Love you so much. Thank you. And if anyone has any questions for Aman, please feel free to ask him. He's in the chat. So those were all of my notes. I went kind of quickly. Sorry. Yes, I will do this anytime. I will send you everything soon. Thank you. That would be great. I could definitely use some more material to learn from. And yeah, please let me know. Please let me know when you know. Thank you. Y'all have any questions, comments, concerns for me? I I would really like to be doing this show more often, or a show more often, at least once a week. Did you guys like that? Is that something you're interested in? Me doing a show once a week? What would you like me to talk about? I am an open book. I'm happy to talk about a lot of things. 5 viewers. Hello, everyone. That's my biggest problem, finding things to talk about, which is, I'm such a talker. That usually isn't a problem for me, but just thinking of something that I can talk about on topic for about like an hour or so, that's a little challenging for me. So I need a little direction from all y'all about what else you'd like to see. Yes, once a week is perfect, but we need you to stick around for at least an hour. Yeah, that's what I thought. I would really like to do this, like, if I could do this 3 times a week, that would be great, for like 1 hour a piece. That would be awesome. What do you think of that? What do y'all think? We can look into federal judge corruption. What is this? Oh, what do you think of this? Federal judge corruption? And agree, weekly works. Okay, do you guys like this on a Sunday? Do you like during the week? Maybe I should do 1 on the weekends and 2 during the week. What do y'all think? Because of ongoing corporate greed, is gone. Yeah, I'm back. Because of the rising costs of everything, because of corporate greed, I am thinking that if I cannot make enough money from my sex work, which I primarily do on Fansly, which let me post right now. I work from home, so I'm open anytime. Thank you. Guys, increased evil. Yep. Ongoing increased evil. I am thinking I might have to get a job. But I would really, really, really like to just be working through my Fansly, if that is possible. And doing camming on, I'm not sure. I'm trying to still figure out what sites to do camming on. If y'all have any, this is my Fansly that I just posted in the comments. Oops, wait a minute. There we go. I just posted my Fansly in the comments. That is the best way you can support me. You can follow me for free on Fansly. I'm running an offer, or limited time offer right now to, sorry guys, my signal sucks. I'm running a limited time offer right now to subscribe for 40% off. Subscribe to my XXX tier for nudes and videos. Yeah, sex work is my main kind of work right now. I am really freaked out about maybe having to get a job and start working under the chains of capitalism again. But if I cannot make enough money camming, which I haven't made any money camming yet, which I need to find a better platform to do it on. And if I can't make any more money on my Fansly, then I might have to, and that really freaks out. No, it really does freak me out. It really does freak me out. I really hate it. It feels really hard to find a job right now because I am disabled. I have bipolar 1 disorder. So I cannot work a 40-hour a week full-time job. That just sends me spiraling into a depressive episode, and I am not functioning. And now I have a service dog who is right here. That's Zulu. That's Zulu Berry. He's sleeping. But I have a service dog, so I would prefer remote work, but that's not very easy to come by now, is it? And especially with them trying to force us back into the office right now. But here we go. Aman's got a great comment. The execution of 81 people by Saudi Arabia has prompted a comparison between international sanctions imposed on Russia for waging a war in Ukraine and the lack thereof against Saudi Arabia, despite its human rights abuses in Yemen. Yes. In case you want to see what he's talking about, I will share my screen and pull up the article. Saudi Arabia just very quiet. Executions. Here we go. In one day, here we'll do Reuters. Saudi Arabia executes 81 men in one day for terrorism, other offenses. Saudi Arabia executed 81 men, including 7 Yemenis and 1 Syrian on Saturday, the Interior Ministry said, in the kingdom's biggest mass execution in decades. The number dwarfed the 67 executions reported there in all of 2021 and the 27 in 2020. Offenses range from joining militant groups to holding deviant beliefs, the ministry said in a statement. These individuals, totaling 81, were convicted of various crimes, including murdering innocent men, women, and children, the statement read. Crimes committed by these individuals also include pledging allegiance to foreign terrorist organizations such as ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the Houthis, it added. The ministry did not say how the executions were carried out. The men included 37 Saudi targeting police stations and convoys, the statement added. The mass execution is likely to bring back attention to Saudi Arabia's human rights records at a time when world powers have been focused on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Rights groups have accused Saudi Arabia of enforcing restrictive laws on political and religious expression and criticize it for use of the death penalty, including for defendants arrested when they were minors. There are prisoners of conscience on Saudi death row, and others arrested as children or charged with nonviolent crimes. Soria Bawans, deputy director of anti-death penalty charity Reprieve, said in a statement. We fear for every one of them following this brutal display of impunity, she added. Saudi Arabia denies accusations of human rights abuses and says it protects its national security through its laws. The state SPA news agency said the accused were provided with the right to an attorney and were guaranteed their full rights under Saudi law during the judicial process. The kingdom executed 63 people in one day in 1980, a year after militants seized the Grand Mosque in Mecca, according to state media reports. A total of 47 people, including prominent Shiite Muslim cleric Nimr al-Nimr, was executed in one day in 2016. So again, biggest mass execution in decades, and it silently happened while we are all paying attention to what's happening in Ukraine and blaming Russia and pointing fingers at Russia instead of saying, look what we're helping Saudi Arabia do. And, you know, these are crimes against humanity. These are human rights violations. These are war crimes. Let's get some fucking justice. But the U.S. is implicated in that. And the U.S. doesn't want to be implicated in anything because we find ourselves superior to international law and therefore cannot be convicted of it. In fact, we've actually made it legal to, seize The Hague if they try to convict. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to go soon. My signal sucks. But what was I saying? Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Yes, we have made it legal to invade The Hague if they try to convict an American citizen. So we are above the law. We are literally above international law. We have made ourselves above international law. So the only reason that or way we can hold ourselves accountable is our people holding ourselves accountable. And that involves talking more about this, letting people know what's going on, spreading the word, spreading the message, and fighting back against this oppressive regime that is censoring us. Who knows if this is going to get like booted off? I mean, YouTube's been deleting people like crazy. Lee Camp Redacted, Abby Morton, they've been deleting videos left and right. Oh, look, we have more friends. We have Ware Pilgrim. Hi, Ware. We have Xavier. Hi. But here we got some also comments about Saudi Arabia is always very quietly doing insane shit. I agree. Because please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go soon because I'm gonna lose it with this signal. But isn't Saudi Arabia responsible for 9/11? I'm gonna look that up. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it right now. I'll do it right fucking now. Let's do this shit. Saudi Arabia ties. Look, right here. Right fucking here. NPR, or this is The Intercept. What do you guys think? I think The Intercept is really great. 9/11 and the Saudi connection. Mounting evidence support allegations that Saudi Arabia helped fund the 9/11 attacks. Oops. Okay. I'll read a little of this and then we'll go back. None of the issues still lingering 20 years after the 9/11 attacks have been as persistent or as emotionally wrenching for the families of the victims as the question of whether Saudi Arabia provided funding and other assistance for the worst terrorist attack in American history. Of the 19 al-Qaeda terrorists who hijacked 4 U.S. commercial airliners on the morning of September 11, 2001, 15 were citizens of Saudi Arabia. And of course, Osama bin Laden was a member of one of Saudi Arabia's wealthiest families. Immediately after the attacks, the Bush administration downplayed the Saudi connection and suppressed evidence that might link powerful Saudis to the funding of Islamic extremism and terrorism. The Bush White House didn't want to upset its relationship with one of the world's largest oil-producing nations. Back to that oil connection we were talking about earlier. Which was also an American ally with enormous political influence in Washington. And much of what the FBI discovered about possible Saudi links to the attacks remains secret even today. What are they hiding? What is the big secret? Terry Strada, whose husband was killed in the attack on the World Trade Center, asked in an interview. We've been operating on lies for 20 years. I've always just wanted to know the truth. Who is behind this and how did it happen? Many U.S. officials have insisted over the last 2 decades that the American government is not really hiding any conclusive evidence of Saudi involvement, and it is quite possible that successive presidents, along with the intelligence community, have closed ranks simply to avoid revealing classified information. And it's plausible that officials want to avoid exposing details that might be politically embarrassing for both Washington and the Saudis, yet don't prove that the Saudi royal family, the Saudi government, or other powerful Saudi individuals played a role in providing funding or assistance for the September 11th attacks. But the refusal to be open and transparent about such a fundamental issue has fed suspicions. 2 decades later, however, glimpses of material that have become public provide mounting evidence that senior Saudi officials, including one diplomat in the Saudi embassy in Washington, may and in fact have indirectly provided assistance for 2 of the al-Qaeda hijackers, Khalid al-Mindbar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, who were the first hijackers to arrive in the United States in 2000 and lived for about 1.5 years in San Diego beforehand. The CIA had identified both Mindbar and Hazmi as al-Qaeda operatives by early 2000, based partly on Mindbar's participation in an al-Qaeda meeting in Malaysia, and the agency was tracking the pair's international movements. But the CIA did not pass on the information to officials at the FBI or other domestic agencies at the time, and the 2 plotters were not placed on any watch list that might have prevented them from entering the United States weeks later. It was not until weeks before the September 11th attacks that the FBI learned that Midhar and Hazmi had entered the country and began a belated and unsuccessful search for them, even as both men were living openly in San Diego, according to multiple government reviews. So, slips by the CIA, yet another one for the books. Then the FBI does know about them, but can't seem to find them living in the open. Great. While no smoking gun has emerged, the evidence indicates that the two hijackers had received logistical and financial support from a handful of people inside the United States with connections to Saudi Arabia, including a man in California whose family receives tens of thousands of dollars from the wife of the Saudi ambassador to the United States. The ongoing scrutiny of the Saudis' role has been driven by a massive lawsuit in federal court in Manhattan brought by families of the victims who maintain that senior Saudi officials were complicit in the attacks. The families were blocked for 15 years from even bringing their claims because of the sovereign immunity protection for foreign governments in court. In 2016, Congress overrode a veto by President Barack Obama to clear the way for the lawsuit by providing the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. So, yeah. Okay, wait, this looks good. Lawyers for the families have now collected some 11,000 still secret pages of internal documents from the U.S. government and have deposed numerous Saudi witnesses to determine what they knew of hijackers' plot, bolstering what they said is a trial of connections leading back to Riyadh. Our view has always been that there were agents of the Saudi government acting in coordination with one another to provide a critical support network for the first hijackers. Sean P. Carter, one of the lawyers representing the victims' family, said in an interview, "There are a lot of contact points between the bad actors here." So yeah, obviously there's a lot more to go on about, yeah. Yes, I am very naughty. I'm fucking talking about 9/11 on the YouTube. I am naughty. Let's talk about this shit. I'll probably get kicked off and this might be deleted, but we'll talk about it. So as back really quickly. So what the fuck does deviant beliefs mean? It's the same as when Biden labels you as a domestic violent extremist. Yes. Except in Saudi Arabia, that probably means anyone in the LGBTQIA community. That is probably considered a deviant belief and probably something that you can be executed for. The death of a nation brought to you by ignorance and greed and Pfizer. Love it. Yep. What else? Mango Press Twitter account was suspended today. Yeah, y'all. Social media is cracking down. Social media is a tool of the establishment. They're in line with the establishment. They want the censorship. They are fine with the censorship because they are controlled by the people who want the censorship. They're benefiting from these people who want the censorship. So there's been a whole attack on people's right to free speech, whole attacks on free speech right now. And that is coming across as censorship for disinformation, and trying to fight misinformation and fake news, all that jazz. But yeah, that it's only going to get worse, y'all. We need to figure our escape plan off of social media to be able to connect with each other, to be able to organize, to be able to survive. We need to start making our exit plan off Twitter because it is just gonna go fucking exponentially worse from here, y'all. Like this is just the tip of the iceberg. As some of y'all also pointed out, most of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. And exactly, none of the hijackers were from Iraq or Afghanistan. All right, y'all. So this has been like an hour. This has been 1 hour, me live weekly. I will try and do this again later this week. Maybe on Wednesday. Wednesday, I do Straight Outta Politics with Compton Jay from Revolutionary Blackout Network. And we did that show. Oh, I think we were at like 5 p.m. last week. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I could probably do a show on Wednesday too. If y'all wanted, if you were in for that. I could definitely do another show. Thank y'all for being here. Real quick, I will put my Fansly in the chat again. Because that is the best way you can support me if you follow or subscribe to me on Fansly. Here we go. Oh, I love you, Roselle. Razel, stick to a schedule if possible. We'll bury it into people's memories so we can all be here. You're right. You're right. I will try and figure out a schedule to make this happen more regularly so we can all be here. Thank y'all for being here. I definitely want to make this a more regular thing. Again, best way to support me is on Fansly. You can follow for free and you can subscribe for a limited time offer. Come on. There we go. Love you, Aman. Thank you so much for being here. This is my Fansly. At Liv Romano is my Fansly, is my Twitter, is my Venmo. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can Venmo me or Cash at me. That's another great way to help support me. Bye, Death Leopards. Mwah. See ya in the chat. See y'all. So yeah, if you would like to Cash at me or Venmo me to help show me how you appreciate what I'm doing, my Venmo and my Cash App are in my bio, which is my Twitter. On Twitter, Liv Romano. Yeah, that is where you can find me. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate it. I will try and come up with a good topic for our next show. Y'all were great. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I really love and appreciate all y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. All right, y'all. I'm gonna call it a day. Go do something revolutionary. Go give a person who's unhoused $20. Go hand out food and water. Go mutual aid some shit up in your community. Go make shit happen. Go ahead. I am going to be doing a mutual aid run to Baltimore this week. I am raising money. I'm doing so far we've raised $52 to buy supplies such as socks, Band-Aids, Neosporin, protein bars and shakes. I'm blanking. Baby and disinfecting wipes, soaps, deodorant, granola bars, all that jazz. That's what I put into 2 Ziploc bags, and I hand them out as mutual aid kits. So we are trying to raise more money for that. We are $298 away from our goal now, trying to raise $350. Again, we've already raised $52. So we're close. We're getting there. So if you want to help support our friends in need and help me buy the supplies, you can donate to my Venmo or my partner's on his way home. You can donate to my Venmo or my Cash App. Or you can tip me on Fansly because I posted a lap dancing video for free on my Fansly for all you to enjoy, but to also raise money for this mutual aid effort that I'm trying to make happen. So thank y'all. Mwah. Thank you for being here. I will talk to y'all soon. Catch y'all on Twitter. See you soon. Bye.